Ladies and gentlemen, here is my 5-year long vaping journey from how it started to how it evolved to how I actually eventually quit. The reason I'm making this video is because there is a lot of people out there that want to quit, but they feel alone. They don't know how to do it. And they also have unrealistic expectations when it comes to quitting. So that's why I want to give you my story to show you the battles I went through, how many times I relapsed, and how much of a struggle it was for me. I want to present you with a challenge first. If you are a current vapor, I want you to not hit your vape the whole video. And the reason behind this is because I want you to be able to focus this whole video and understand that you can go 10-15 minutes without needing any nicotine. And another reason I'm doing this is because I want you to realize just how hard it is for you to focus without this. So yeah, don't vape the whole video, but let's jump right into my journey. Alright, as you can see here, I made a nice chart for us to look at. Starting down here, we got my first time vaping ever. This was in January of 2017. I remember I was 13 years old, and it was a Friday night, I believe. And I went to one of my new friends' houses for the night after Altitude, which is a trampoline park. We went on the trampolines for about 3 hours, then we went to his house, and once his dad fell asleep, he went and grabbed his freaking vape, and I was like, whoa, this is crazy. I've never done this before. I'm hanging out with the cool kids. What? So I'll pop up a video. He took a video of me hitting it for the first time, and I felt mad cool. It was only 3 milligram vape juice, so it was nothing crazy. It's not like it really got me a buzz. It was weird. Feeling that warm vape air in my throat. But there was something about that made it so attractive. I don't think it was the vape. I think it was just doing something I wasn't supposed to. I think it gave me a sense of self-worth when I was younger because, to be honest, I was a nobody. So I want to fit in with a certain group, so I decided to fit in with who I thought were the cool kids. From there, I kept hitting all my friends' mods until I was like, alright, let's buy my own. I want to do this like all the time. So in March 2017, I ordered my first box mod off eBay to my friend's house. So I believe onwards from here is when I started to dabble in some nicotine. We had like Soren Airs, which were like smaller mods that you were able to fit in your pocket, and also put nic salts in, which is the 50 milligram vape juice, which is what everybody is addicted to nowadays. So I was on that for a while, but it was always so patchy because I was like 14, 15 at the time. I wasn't really able to get my hands on stuff all of the time. But once Disposables came out is when really everything took a turn for the worst. So in September 2019, Disposables, started to become popular, and me and my friend both got one. My ex's dad got us some, so that's where that started. And those were like amazing tasted. They were small, they had 50 milligrams. They were like the most addicting things ever. So that's where the disposable addiction started. So eventually I get caught with them by my mom. She ended up only getting mad for a day, and after that she was like, I don't really give a shit. So after that I was like, alright, bet I'm gonna order a shit ton of the house and I'm gonna start selling them. And that's exactly what I did. Okay, I started ordering dozens and dozens of them, so I had them on my hands all the time. I had so many of them. It was just really bad. So that was in February of 2020, when I was probably at like the worst point of my life. I had nothing but toxic people around me. I was just vaping, smoking, got addicted to Xanax for a while there. And from there, I was kind of just a bad kid, not doing shit with his life until it came around. And that's when I met another friend who was more of an athletic type of person, and he got me into lifting over. So my lifting journey started June of 2020, and at this time I was still very addicted to disposable devices such as hides. From there on, I started to become really obsessed over lifting, and I wanted to do everything possible to become the best athlete in the gym. I wanted to put on as much muscle as quick as possible. And in order to do this, I knew I needed to quit vaping, because not only was it ruining my appetite, but it was just ruining my ability to go hard in the gym. Because as you know, when you vape, it releases a lot of dopamine in your brain. And when you just have a lot of dopamine up there, you don't really feel like doing hard things. So in the gym, I would just be lazy. I would have no motivation to really do anything. So that's when I realized how bad this was impacting me, and I knew I needed to quit. But there was an issue. Everybody around me vaped. Literally everybody. So once I realized it was a bad habit and I needed to quit it, here's what I did. I told myself I would never buy another one again, which I ended up did. But what I basically made myself do is refill my disposable vape by taking off the cap and putting vape juice on the cotton with 6 milligram vape juice. Not only did it lower the milligrams, so I wasn't so addicted to 50 milligrams, I was addicted to 6. but it also made it disgusting, okay? Basically, you're supposed to throw away these disposables like after a week or two. I kept the same one, I think, for about 2 or maybe 3 months, and I just became absolutely disgusted with it, and I would still hit it, but at the same time, I was like, ew, this is disgusting. Basically, in my mind, I was trying to lean myself off of it while also making it very unattractive to do, which is next to impossible because if you try to quit before, you know how addicting it is. And the main reason people don't quit is because they believe the pain of quitting is going to be more than the pain of continuing this bad habit, which, coming from somebody who quit, yeah, it really does hurt to quit, but everything gets better, life gets better. You're gonna thank yourself for just suffering and sacrificing those 2 to maybe 12 weeks that withdrawals are going to happen. So we move on to when I really started to try to quit, which was around March of 2021, I want to say, is when I totally threw away all the stuff I had at my house, and my only source of it was through my friends, which made it really bad because whenever I would get around my friends that had it, it would be the only thing that was on my mind. I would try to have a conversation with them, and all I could think about was getting their vape out of their pocket, or I'd wait for them to hit it just so I can say, yo, bro, let me tap that. It was actually really bad, and it was a thought process that like really hurt me, but I couldn't help it. And you wouldn't understand unless you've been there. It's next to impossible to quit if the people around you aren't quitting with you. Okay, if the people around you vape and you're trying to quit it, it is going to be so hard for you to quit. If you don't know this, nicotine is, I believe, one of the most addicting chemicals on planet Earth. It's crazy addictive, and even till this day, I still get cravings for it, and it's been 9 or 10 months since I actually quit. So, somewhere along that time, I relapsed. I started to buy my own again, and this actually happened, I would say, around 2 or 3 times where I've quit and relapsed, quit and relapsed. I remember one time, the first time I actually ever tried to quit, it was for 2 weeks, and worst withdrawals ever. In 3 days, I started to just like sweat my bed every night, headaches, all of the worst withdrawals you can ever imagine. But this only happened once. Every other time I tried to quit it, I never really had too much withdrawals, just besides being very irritated and probably eating a lot more. Yeah, basically I relapsed. I started to vape again, and I think this went on for a long time. I think it went on all the way up until October 2020 or October 21 to December 2022. I can't exactly remember when I decided to quit again. It was summers around that time. Now, I did start dating this girl around the time who also vaped, so it was again kind of hard, but she was actually very good at saying no to me. When I told her I was trying to quit, and when I would ask for it, she'd be very stiff about it. So I probably hit that like a half a dozen times within, the 5 months we talked. So right around then, at the beginning of 2022 is when I actually quit. Now, what did it take for me to actually quit? It took me having to lose my friend group somewhat. So my one friend went off to the Marines, so that kind of eliminated him. Now my other friend that I was always around, we stopped talking. And since that happened, I had no one really around me that vaped. And I was able to quit. So if anybody out there really wants to quit, I really recommend you do it. And here is kind of my 2-step process to quitting. First, make a promise to yourself that you're going to quit. And I wouldn't recommend so much setting like a deadline, like, all right, within 2 weeks, this is going to be my last one, because then you're just going to hit it extra more and you're going to become even more attached to it. So what I recommend doing is just, I would honestly say right after this video, throw it away. Because the hardest thing for me was to just throw it away. Is for me to say, all right, tomorrow I'm going to quit. Because then tomorrow would come and I would get so much anxiety and I'd be like, oh, no, I can't do this. I need this. So it has to be something just in the moment. And once you do that, you have to get it out of sight and you have to get it out of mind. The main reason people relapse is because it is in their sight, okay? They have a friend that does it, or they have extra ones laying under their bed. You have to get rid of it, and you have to make a promise to yourself that you are not going to hit another. Now, you might experience some really bad withdrawals, so here are some of my recommendations. First, staying busy, keeping yourself occupied. Just always have something going on, because when you are sitting still is when you're like, okay, I want to hit a vape. Number 2, understand that you're going to gain some weight, and don't hate yourself for doing that, because you can always lose weight, so don't worry. I ate a lot of food. This is actually when I gained I gained 50 pounds, and a good amount of it was muscle, but I went from like 130 pounds to like 175 when I was, basically in between quitting and kind of vaping. But I started to eat a lot more. And 3, I would recommend exercising. So anytime you're kind of getting that craving, go to the gym, go on a run, hit the ground, do some push-ups, do whatever, get your heart pumping, raise your vibration to get out of that lower state you might be in. I really believe if you are currently vaping and you think it might be holding you back, this can be a very pivotal moment for you. And I really recommend that you follow the steps I mentioned earlier. First, throwing it away as quick as possible and promising to yourself that you are going to quit. And then after that, getting it out of sight and getting out of mind. And again, if the people around you are really close people and you can't just kind of step away from them for a month or 2, then talk to them and be like, yo, either quit with me or make sure I do not hit your vape. Okay, because if your friends are real friends, they will help you out with this. Okay, they will quit with you, or they will make sure you do not hit their vape. It's going to be a very hard process, but I believe in you, because if I can do it, you can definitely do it too. And I want to let you know, after about 2.5 months after quitting, I experienced just some of the best moments in life. And not because like anything crazy happened, but just because like my brain became so much clearer. My dopamine receptors are not always just being attacked by freaking nicotine. I just was a lot more joyful in life because I wasn't always hacking my dopamine. I was getting dopamine from real things, not just a vape. I can promise you the light at the end of the tunnel is very much worth it. But that basically wraps up the video. I just want to share with you my journey, some tips on quitting, some tips on withdrawals, etc., because I want to help out everybody out there, because this is really a thing that is plaguing our generation. We don't know the effects of vaping, and the effects we do know, there's nothing positive about them. So if you like the meaning in this video, consider sharing it with your friend group or your friend or whoever you want to quit with or help quit. And if you need anything more from me, hit my Instagram DMs at 585RJ. Just drop that follow, then the message button is going to pop up, and you can message me with whatever you have a question or need advice on. Other than that, thank you for staying and watching this whole video. Please drop it a like and drop me a subscribe, because, helps out the algo and stuff. And yeah, peace out, and I wish you the best on your journey.